Hello everyone and welcome back to my YouTube channel. It is the end of September. I cannot believe how fast this month has gone, but that also means I need to set up my bullet journal for October. So if you're down to watch me set up my bullet journal, take a seat, grab a cup of tea or your beverage of choice, grab your planner if you want to plan along with me, and let's get into it. Okay, so let's get started with my bullet journal setup for October. And the theme that I've chosen for this month is a Wanderlust theme. And because I have lots of travel-based washi tapes, so much travel-based washi tapes, I don't know how that happened. But because of that, I've decided to do a similar thing to what I did last week, in that I'm mainly using the washi tapes to decorate my spreads. I just found that such a fun style to play with, not only for my monthly setup, but using them throughout my weekly setups as well. I just really enjoyed playing with the washi tapes, playing with the different combinations and different weekly colour schemes within the main floral theme. It was just really, really fun. I really enjoyed it. And also, it's, again, like I said last month, it's just a really easy way to incorporate kind of making your bullet journal aesthetic and pleasing and fun without having to worry about being able to draw well or doodle well, because I can't draw or doodle well. It takes me a really long time, and as I'm starting to get slightly busier, I'm starting to get involved in more projects, I'm starting to get little bits of work here and there, I don't have time to think of a theme and come up with lots of elaborate doodles. So starting off with my calendar layout, I'm staying with the one-page layout, and in the gap at the top I've just got a little quote that says, "Great things never came from comfort zones," which just really resonated with me when I found that quote, looking for things to put in that little space at the top. And then I've got the title of the month, October, within a little doodle of a postcard in orange. And my show of the week to coincide with this Wanderlust theme is Come From Away. If you've seen the show or listened to the cast recording, you'll know it is a brilliant show. I don't want to spoil it for anyone who hasn't seen Come From Away, but it's all about kind of human connection, not only within big world events, but also just through our humanity. And so I just thought that was a beautiful show, kind of in keeping with this bullet journal theme. So I will leave a link to the cast recordings in the description below. On the next page, I decided to bring back my monthly task list. As I'm starting to get a little bit busier, I'm starting to have more kind of things that I want to get done throughout the month. I feel like the monthly task list is something I can use again. And then for my Spanish words list, I'm doing words to do with travel, which obviously very fitting for a Wanderlust theme. While I'm here, I just want to apologise. I don't know what happened with the framing when I was filming this. I was having trouble with my tripod anyway, but there's quite a lot of these setups of these pages where the bottom of the page, or when I turn my notebook to the side, like the whole page is out of frame. I'm really, really sorry. If I could refilm it, I would, but I can't because I've set up these pages now. So apologies for that. I honestly don't know what happened. I was just having an off day, clearly. But I do a flip through at the end, so you will be able to see everything that I did in this setup. So on the next page, I've got my sentence of the week, and I decided to do the boxes in the 4 different colours most featured in the washi tapes I was using, so red, blue, green and orange. In hindsight, I think if I were to do this theme again in the same way, I would keep the line work and the hand lettering very monochromes, using just black and white, and then use the washi tapes to add the colour. Having said that, I'm not mad at how the completed setup turned out. I think it did turn out fine. I think that's just something to bear in mind, maybe if you wanted to copy this idea in your own notebook or bullet journal, that I feel that using the different coloured felt tip pens and brush pens kind of diluted the impact of the washi tapes a little bit. But that's just me. I had so much fun playing with these washi tapes as well. Not only did I have lots of different designs of washi tapes, and lots of them had different stamped patterns, but also some of them were kind of in a postage stamp format, so you could rip off individual kind of rectangles with different designs on them. I also played with ripping the washi tape versus cutting the washi tape for cleaner lines, so I felt like I was able to play a lot more than I did with the washi tapes last month. Also because it was my second time playing with the washi tapes, so I think that gave me a bit more freedom because I'd done it once before. But yeah, it was a really fun spread to set up. I also, one of the great things about washi tape is because it's not like sellotape. If you don't like how something looks, it is very easy. You can see at the moment while I'm setting up my next page, it's very easy to put something down, and then if you don't like it, you can just peel it back up and change it or cut it or put something else. So it is still very versatile. In fact, more versatile than pen, because once you put a pen stroke down, you can't get rid of it. So it also gives you some freedom and flexibility if you're not quite sure what you want your spreads to look like. If you're using washi tape as the main decorative thing, you can try lots of different options before committing to one. So my next spread is my habit and mood tracker. This is exactly the same as it's been the last couple of months. The only thing that I've changed is I'm no longer tracking meditation. Meditation here just hasn't been working for me. When I started exploring meditating daily, I was visiting my mum down in Kent, and for some reason I got into the habit of waking up at 6 a.m, I guess because it was summer and it was bright, and the mornings were fresh and there were birds, and apart from that it was really, really quiet, and it was very easy for me to just sit quietly and empty my mind for 10 minutes. Here there's a lot of noise. London is very noisy. You forget how noisy London can be, especially here, because there's a lot of building work happening nearby. If you watched my last video, you will know how noisy the building work is. And it's just not the same environment, so I find it incredibly hard to meditate here. So much so that I've hardly meditated during September. So I decided to swap that habit out with reading every day. Reading is something that I really want to get back into the habit of. It's one of those habits that just as I've got older and I've got more adult obligations, I've kind of fallen out of doing because it's not quote unquote productive. But I feel that reading kind of has the same function that meditation has in terms of sitting down, relaxing, doing something that I can completely focus my mind on and get rid of all other thoughts. It's not the same because you're not completely emptying your mind, you're filling your mind with whatever you're reading, but I do find it a very calming activity when I do it. And I've actually started reading more already just by having set up for October. Me now, at the end of September, I'm already reading more and kind of setting up that habit for next month, and I am really, really enjoying it. I know how much I miss reading, but it's one of those things where unless you make the time to be like, no, I'm actually going to do this, it's a very easy thing to be like, oh, I don't have time to read, I've got to do this, I've got to do that, I'm too tired, etc. So for my next 2 pages, because I actually have enough pages in my bullet journal to last me to the end of the year and then some, which I didn't know if I would have enough pages, but I counted them and I do, I decided to reprise my ideas / brain dump spread. from last month. I did use my ideas spread a little bit last month, and it is something that I think I can use more. The thing that stopped me last month was that I had the idea that I'd have a key for different ideas for different things, and that key would be color coded, and so I was hesitant to write things down because I couldn't color code them because I didn't have the right color pens with me. But I decided to swap that out for kind of variations of bullets, so I can just write things down straight away, and I think that's going to help me write down my ideas more readily and be less nervous to use that spread. I also think I need somewhere to put down ideas and actually make time for creating ideas for things. On the next page that you can't see, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened, I'm really sorry. But my next page is going to be a ideal holiday spread. I really want to go on holiday. I was planning on, if my auntie would have me, visiting her in Spain in April, but then COVID happened. Luckily I hadn't booked anything, so I didn't lose any money, but yeah. And just throughout this whole time, I've just wanted to go on holiday. I think part of it is wanting to kind of escape reality and get away. But also, I can't remember the last time I had a holiday. I think a couple of years ago was the last time I went away. And I've kind of been daydreaming about all the places in Spain that I'd want to see, because I've only ever visited the Costa Blanca. I've only been to Barcelona for 3 days on a school trip, and then visiting my auntie who lives near Benidorm on the Costa Blanca. So like, I've never been to Leon, I've never been to Andalusia, I've never been to Madrid. So I thought I'd just make myself a page where I can daydream and plan out my ideal road tripping or interrailing trip just around Spain, and I can visit wine country and all the cities and see all the castles and cathedrals and like buildings from the Muslim occupation and just like everything, and yeah, drink all of the Rioja because when in Spain, that's what you do. You drink Rioja or sangria or both and eat delicious food, and that's just what I want to do. So who knows when I'll get to do it, but one day. So finally, we are on, well, I am on my weekly spreads, and these were the spreads that I kept completely monochrome in terms of the outlines and the writing, which again, I think if I were to do the spread again, that's what I would do. The other thing I decided to do for this setup was just use my own handwriting. I'm not entirely sure. No, I do know why I decided to do that. I decided to do that because I've just been feeling really tired, and the thought of doing hand lettering just did not appeal to me this month. I don't think cursive hand lettering would have suited. I think the hand lettering style that would have suited the best would be like a serif typewriter font. And when I did a similar layout in my bullet journal last year, that's what I used. But that font takes me a really long time to achieve just because I don't do it a lot. So that would have been long, and I was not in the mood for that. So I just decided to use my own handwriting. Whether that suits, I don't know. I doubt it, but it's my bullet journal. I can do what I want. The other thing I decided to do was in the sidebar next to my weekly log, in the bottom box, I decided to try out doing a finance log, like a mini finance log. Nothing too crazy. It'll just be a space for me to write down what financial transactions I think are most pertinent for me to write down. When I first started bullet journaling, I used to do full page spreads of like really complicated finance logs. and I just didn't fill them out. I just didn't find them helpful. But logging my finances is something that, especially at this time when everything's so up in the air, I feel I do want to do in some capacity. I had that same box for the last week of September, and I'm gonna try it again. So here is my final flip through of my bullet journal setup for October. I really like how these spreads turned out in the end, even though there were some things that I would have probably changed, but I'm really looking forward to using these spreads in October. So that was my bullet journal setup for October. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider liking and subscribing. I'd love to have you on the channel. Stay tuned for more bullet journal and theatre content from a UK perspective, and I will see you all in my next video. Bye friends!